fantastically well-kept perimeter around my parents' field. This is a semi-rural area, so there's nothing actually growing here. There's no animals, no crops being grown. It's basically just a completely useless field. Absolutely fantastically kept on the edge here. Be a shame if anything happened to it. Accidentally latched the handbrake. Got out of that power band. Oh, I stalled it. Oh, what a pleb I am. Hates this part. Well, that was a bunch of fun, but the ground is getting a little too chewed up and I'm probably going to do more damage to the car. So, that was just a little bit of fun, doing a little bit of paddy bashing. Now, for those of you that don't know what paddy bashing is, it's a paddock, which here in Australia is basically just a cordoned off field, basically. And it's like taking a beater around a track, except for me it was probably the single biggest non-house investment I have ever made to buy that car. 20,000 Australian dollars basically by the time that all on-roads were done and all that sort of stuff. That was a lot of money in that car. Though now I want to talk about the future of the car. Now, there's a few things going on here. I hate how gutless this car is. So I am going to be doing some tuning on it. The problem is it's not just about how much power I can make and how much money it'll cost, but it's also, I've realized that I've got insurance on this car. It's the first time I've ever had first-party insurance, and one, not very cheap, and two, not very friendly to modifications. So the question is, do I go without it altogether, or do I limit what I actually do to the car? Now, so here's kind of the limitation on what I can do in regards to my insurance. I can do something like extractors, which will just be basically the amount of it costs is how much it'll up the value of the car. Doesn't look like there'll be much of a change in insurance premiums. But then there's if I want to switch to a turbo engine, which seems to be a choice that I could do. That's $4,000 extra insurance a year. That means every 4 years they think I'm going to be writing off this car. Absolute insanity and stupid. I wish insurance companies weren't so corrupt. But anyway, what I was originally going to do was to add a turbo, which is about take me up to somewhere close to 300 horsepower, which would make the car come a little bit alive for me. And I was thinking, you know what? That'll be nice. I won't go overboard. We'll just have something quite nice. But then I was told that they flat out would not insure me at all. So I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I've never had insurance on a car, but I really feel that I do need it on this car because if I lose this car due to being hit by anybody or a hailstorm, which we've had here before, that wrecked my car and my previous car. Actually, 2 cars, because it was also the Ute. If that happened to this car, that's a lot of money basically gone. That would probably halve the value of the vehicle, which is not something I particularly want to go through. So that's why we got insurance there. The other option is to go with somebody like Shannon's Insurance. I don't really know much about them, never actually dealt with them. I will ask them before I go ahead and do this, but what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do is, and I've already bought this, I've got an LSD coming, because the one that I have has an open diff, because I don't know, for some reason, the GTS model, which is the one I have in the first year or two of it being sold here in Australia, just came with an open differential, and there are so many times I'll be going around a corner, and I'll do, even on, a little bit of power, it'll start doing a one-tire fire, which is weird. It shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, so it really, really just loves to get that one wheel off. The other thing that it is it's also a 4.3 compared to a 4.1 diff ratio. Now, if you don't know what that means, it basically means I'm sacrificing top speed and cruising RPM to be able to get just a little bit more lively acceleration. I do believe that it is faster on a track, but we don't really do a lot of track work because it's very expensive to do. And being in South Australia, most people aren't really willing to respond to emails and actually deal with things. So I found out that if I go to a place called The Bend, which is a very big racetrack here in South Australia, it's also fairly new as well, they want $30-something thousand for a day. Absolutely bonkers. Then there's Malala, which for a half day, apparently I can get for about 1,800 Australian dollars, which is doable, but that's a lot of money. Holy cow, that would be basically everything I have left. I mean, not everything I have left. I was going to buy a turbo kit, but after getting a turbo kit, I probably wouldn't be able to afford that at all. And then there's one other one which I want to have a look at. There's AIR, which is Adelaide International Raceway, and it's not finished at the moment. They've done some work to it and not repaired it. I'm not sure. And then there's one way out in the middle of Whoop Whoop, which I've been trying to contact, and they haven't been responding. I've been thinking about going interstate and getting on some much better tracks. But yeah, that's basically the crux of what's been happening here in my life in regards to my car. I do really want to do something to this car. I want to make it more powerful. So I think turbo might be off the board for me. So instead, I'm thinking of going headers, get rid of that torque dip, which apparently is because the car's not actually that slow. It just feels slow, and apparently that torque dip is the main contributing factor to that feel of it being have I got nothing left in this car? And then you get into that last little bit of power in the gear change. You're oh, a little bit. Oh no, it's okay, time to change gears. And then maybe go a flex fuel. There's a few places around which sell ethanol E85 here in Australia, in South Australia. So I'm thinking I could do that, and if I ever wanted to do something a little bit more lively, I'll just go over to where the E85 sellers are and go get that, and otherwise just use regular 98 octane fuel. It's not 98 RON, I believe it's equivalent to 93 or 94. Ron is 98 here in Australia. It like gets very, very weird. Anyway, though, I hope you have enjoyed today's video and just a little bit of fun. I was out mowing my parents' field for them because they have to have like a perimeter. My dad's not here at the moment. He's out. And I've been helping my mum out. And one of the things we did was I had to mow that around there. Now, that's not so much for a fire break. More what that mowing is if there is a fire in the area, which this winter doesn't really happen, but if there is, they will be able to access that. So they'll be able to drive down there quite easily and whatnot. So that's why I was mowing that. And I thought, it looks like a really nice field. And then I thought, you know what, I bet you somebody like Top Gear would go and do some paddy bashing. I remembered that I actually used to do paddy bashing all the time as a kid in my parents' KB25, a little Isuzu thing. Absolutely fantastic fun as a kid. But I didn't want to do it in the KB25 because, to be honest, that ute sucks. And I've never been one to really care too much about the paintwork on a car. So I thought, you know what, I'll just take my car around. And consequences be damned. I mean, I got insurance if they would cover anything like that, which, to be honest, they probably wouldn't. Anyway. Goodbye.